work for them and then kick money up to the top. So if they melt jobs to China or Japan or Canada or Mexico, their union membership declines and the money doesn't flow to the top. Do you understand how that works? It has nothing to do with America. It has nothing to do with the American worker. It has to do with the American union worker kicking money up to the top. So they say, of course we can't do this to our own members, not because we give a rat's behind about any of these people. They're nothing but cannon fodder to us. But if we melt 3 million more jobs like NAFTA did, we're going to lose union members. We're going to lose some of the money that's flowing to the top. We can't have it. It's as simple as that. It's realpolitik. I understand it. You know, they say once a scholar, always a scholar. Now, I began as a scholar in the university days, and so I spent time today reading the immigration provisions of this deal. You won't believe what's in this. I'm going to tell you that it has more to do with immigration than you could ever imagine. Boehner is a Benedict Arnold. McConnell, a Benedict Arnold. Ryan, a Benedict Arnold. They should all be given the Benedict Arnold Award of the day. I'd say Quisling, but nobody knows who Quisling is. But they know who Benedict Arnold is. That's who they are. But they lost today. Here's another example of bullying. You're not going to believe this story. Legendary rabbi of England calls for Jewish surrender in Europe. England's former chief rabbi, Lord Jonathan Sacks, gave a speech described by the media in Herzliya, Israel. And he believed that the boycott and divest movement against Israel had succeeded in making the state of Israel a divisive factor in Jewish life. And the rabbi claimed, as a result, to support Israel was almost impossible for European Jews. He gave up, in other words. He gave in to the Muslim fanatics. And now the Jews in Europe are saying we can no longer support Israel. Now, if this was just a little weakling rabbi in Queens, New York, it would have no meaning. This is an astonishing speech because it came from the former chief rabbi of England who has said he can no longer support the Jewish state because he has been intimidated by the Muslim fanatics who have penetrated and poisoned England and turned it into a satellite of Pakistan. We have a bully in New York City named Mayor de Blasio, who has intimidated the police. Crime is skyrocketing in New York City. Check it out. He's putting 1,000 new cops on the street, and he won't admit it's because of his policies that crime is spiraling. Now you've got psychos like Janet Napolitano saying it's microaggressive to talk about meritocracy at the University of California. Let me remind you of something. Competition is the basis of humanity. I have been in primitive villages. I didn't understand how people function in little villages until I went there back in the 1960s as a young, let us call, anthropologist. And I thought it would be some kind of communist system where everyone got along and shared. Well, guess what? Down at the most simple tribal level, it was extremely competitive. The best hunter became the leader. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? The best hunter became the leader, not the worst hunter, not the crippled hunter, not the perverted hunter, but the best hunter, because otherwise they would starve to death in the village. Well, nothing's ever changed in our society, ever. Everybody can understand that, except the left-wing fanatics who want something for nothing. Have I not shown you that all of this bullying is about people who cannot compete on a level playing field? So they're using their sexual orientation, their race, or their disability as a weapon against people who are either by dint of birth or by brains or by hard work superior to them in the world of competition. Write that down because I mean every word I just said. I've spent my entire life trying to succeed in places where I was told I could not succeed. I've been told I would fail where I never failed. I was told I could not win where I won. I was told not to apply for a PhD program, and I applied for it and I earned my doctorate. I was told I wouldn't last one day in radio because my voice was too New York. I'm in radio for 21 years. Right now my show is #1 on WABC. Right now my show is #1 on many other stations. Who was wrong, them or me? How did I succeed? By never giving up, damn it, and I never will give up. As long as I breathe, I will fight for what I believe is right. And what I'm trying to do by example is tell you to stop it. Stop taking it from these twisted freaks. Stand up to them. They're not stronger than you. They're weaker than you. And don't let them use their situation to bully you. These bullies have to be shouted down. I don't care if it's a college administrator. I don't care who it is. Scream in the bully's face. Give it back to them. I don't care if it's Muslims bullying you, telling you that you're a racist. I don't care if it's gays and lesbians bullying you. I don't care if it's street thugs bullying the cops. I don't care if it's lawyers in the ACLU. I don't care if it's illegal aliens screaming that they want rights they're not entitled to. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very, very, very long in this process. I've seen what this has done. I've seen how it's destroyed societies before. In the old days, it came under the guise of fairness. Now it's coming at us from a different point of view. Now it's called white privilege. Now it's called microaggression. But make no mistake about it. You are being bullied out of your life. Your very freedom is at stake. And you have to remember this. The TSA has been written in secret by and for major corporations that would benefit them only if it became law. It was written for Microsoft. It was written for Facebook. It was written for Google. It was written for the tech companies who lobbied around the clock with the bully in chief. They want more profit, that's all. And they got shafted today because of a progressive conservative coalition. Incidentally, where does Ms. Clinton stand on this? Nowhere, as usual. A liar and a hider. It was her husband, after all, who gave us NAFTA. Do you remember NAFTA? And raise your hands if you remember what Bill Clinton did to America. That greedy Aztec. Stealing hundreds of millions of dollars under the guise of speaker fees and this and contributions. And where is she on this? Nowhere to be found. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I, Michael Savage, trust to buy my gold and silver from. Swiss.
And so while I'm a big supporter of TAA, if TAA slows down the fast track, I am prepared to vote against TAA, because then its defeat, sad to say, is the only way that we will be able to slow down the fast track. I will be voting today to slow down the fast track.
Nancy, we don't need the whole thing. You got the picture. The bully lobbied her. The bully lobbied everyone else. He got off the golf game. He changed his morning routine. I don't know what he does in the morning, but he's never seen in the morning, or rarely seen in the morning. Today he went to Capitol Hill, the bully, and tried to bulldoze everyone into voting for this sellout, this corporate crony capitalism, this sellout of American workers. And even Pelosi didn't go for it for one reason. It's not that she loves the American worker. I mean, let's be clear. She's a wackadoodle progressive. We know what she stands for. But she's closely tied into the American Union movement, which she's entitled to be. And so when Mr. Trumka of the AFL-CIO came out against it, she obviously came out against it. Now, why would he come out against it? What, does he love the workers so much all of a sudden? I don't think so. What is a union? How do the union bigwigs make their money? From dues. So if you lose another few million workers to foreign workers who will not be union members, you lose dues. So they can't have that. It was bad for their business. And so that's why she went for it, in my opinion. And as far as the progressives, I mean, I can go to one district in New York, like I think it's Buffalo, where Louise Slaughter is from, another so-called progressive. She was against it because her city is hollowed out. It was destroyed by Bill Clinton with NAFTA and GATT. Mr. and Mrs. Clinton did so much for the American worker, didn't they? What's really disgusting is there's a guy on CNN whose last name rhymes with the man who invented the flush toilet in England, is not covering any of this because it's bad news for Obama, and he's a stooge of Obama. They're not even covering this. They're covering the prison escape. Most people don't care about the prison escape. They care about jobs. They care about America's sovereignty. Anyway, none of this would have happened under a true conservative administration. The Constitution would be honored, not stepped on. Race riots would not be smoldering in our cities. Obamacare would never have been passed. Crony corporate capitalism, such as this, would have been exposed had we had a true conservative in the White House. The useless alphabet agencies like EPA and FCC would have been thrown out of business, put out of business. The Federal Reserve would be audited to see where the money is going and what they're stealing. Corrupt banksters and politicians would be running out of the country on the first jet to Switzerland because they'd be going to jail. Our borders would be secured with the military. Small businesses would be growing in this country if legislation easing regulations and red tape would have been eliminated. Unemployment levels would be at extraordinarily low levels as the American economy would roar back to life. Auto companies that couldn't survive wouldn't have been bailed out. And most importantly, we would be running the Keystone XL pipeline, not making sure that Obama's donors block it so they can run the oil in from Canada on their railroad cars, Mr. Buffett. Don't think we're all so stupid. The fact of the matter is, this country is melting down faster than Chernobyl. And these corporate oligarchs are the greediest men in the history of the world. They're worth billions of dollars, and it's still not enough for them. They want lower and lower wages. They want to flood America with workers from the Pacific Rim right now in order to make certain that they can kick out more mature American workers and throw them in the gutter so they can buy another yacht of 400 foot in length and then give away more money, making believe they're so benevolent, Mr. Bill Gates. We're not impressed with you, Bill Gates. We don't buy your sweater act. We see through you. And you, Zuckerberg, you're a special case. You've been acting like you're for immigration, marching with your Hispanic buddies over the months. We saw right through you, Zuckerberg. You're a greedy, pimply-faced Harvard cheat as far as we're concerned. You're the lowest of the low. We, the American people, are boiling over with anger and rage at these phonies. Anyway, you get the picture. It's not over till it's over. But the fact of the matter is, these Silicon Valley cretins lobbied as near as Thursday, demanding that Obama's trade deal go through. 27 executives sent a letter to House members, AT&T, IBM, Microsoft, Hewlett-Packard, eBay, Cisco, Intel, and Xerox, added their voices to this debate over Obama's sellout on trade. Well, right now it seems to be on life support because the progressives joined with the true conservatives in a coalition to defeat America's bully, America's number one bully, Barack Obama.
Savage.